Brandon, what prompted you to run for this position?
Many of the same things that were described in the two letters. I've born and raised here as well. Did some of my college here, actually did all my college here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln to get my BSN. Currently have 2 kids enrolled. Between mandates and the way that board has continued with the way and the path they've been going, even against a lot of parents' wishes and stuff, it prompted me to do like they said. Instead of complaining about it and whining about it, it's time for me to step up and try to do something about it.
Thank you. Brandon, the next question is for you to start. What is your philosophy when it comes to parental involvement in the development of curricula and other issues affecting their child's education?
I believe that parental involvement is essential. Our teachers are wonderful. They dedicate a lot of time in the classroom, outside of the classroom, for my kid and for everybody's kid. And it's a wonderful thing. They don't always get the appreciation they deserve. But on the other hand, they spend a certain amount of time with my kid, and I spend the rest of it with them. I know my kid. I understand my kid. And fitting them into boxes and certain things isn't always the right thing. Now, it's always nice to have the ability as a parent to talk to your kid and to talk to the teachers and give your input. Some of the teachers I've talked to through this last year and some of these experiences have shown that they love parental involvement. They like to hear from the parents because it gives them a semblance of what they're doing and where they're headed and how well they're doing with a particular kid or a particular situation. So I believe that it's an integral role. It's not the only role, but I do believe it's an integral role, and we need to keep power with parents and students as well.
Thank you. Brandon, what other career pathways would you like to see developed?
I think everybody pretty much took care of it. And I'm glad Brian spoke before me because I got to know all the extra programs that I didn't know that they were getting going. I do believe that it's a continued emphasis on the fact that college isn't the end-all be-all. College is perfect for a lot, but it's not perfect for everybody, and we need to allow kids to be self-confident in whatever role they choose to do. I have a 15-year-old at home. I try to teach him the trade stuff all the time. I've done everything from plumbing, tin work, I've done sheetrock, general construction, and it's something I can always fall back on. You know, if I ever happen to change jobs or I'm in between jobs or something happens, I always have the availability to go back to that. And it's an industry that's always going to be there. You know, people always need a toilet. People always need their rooms redone or a house built or a baby room done or something. So ag is another big thing, so I'm glad that Brian brought that up. It's a tremendous thing. It's an industry that's struggling. And the fact that that's in our schools now so kids can understand it and they know what it's all about, give them a better understanding, I think that's all good. So I agree with most of the people here.
Gearing Public Schools has partnered with Scottsbluff Schools in a number of areas, some extracurricular activities, like notably the swim team. How much farther should collaboration go, and would you ever consider an instance to consolidate the districts?
Collaboration is never a bad thing. It definitely needs to be on a situational basis. CCATs are awesome, but they present a specific instance where facility is what facilitated that merger. Otherwise, Gearing would have to come up with a bunch more money to create an indoor facility so that they could do what is happening over there. As far as any academic stuff and sports stuff, Kasi is right. I mean, become a Class A. We talked about people falling through the cracks. I mean, you see the size of Scottsbluff's football team right now and the size of Gearing's football team, and you put those together, and there's a lot of kids that are going to be left sitting around and not getting some benefits. We've seen our wrestling program grow tremendously in the last 5 years. We've got a lot more kids coming out. So as far as collaboration through sports and stuff like that, I think CCATS is, like she said, the only place because of the facilities, and it creates that particular situation. I don't think that we will ever consolidate.
The district has had to secure a line of credit with a local financial institution to protect district cash flows. What do you believe the district needs to do to stabilize funding, especially when state aid fluctuates year to year?
Can't speak on how to stop it, how to prevent it, how to help it, because I don't know how it all works. I don't know, I know grants and state funding, stuff like that, but I don't know how we go about getting it, what programs are available each time. I don't know what our budgetary restraints and stuff are. And until I'm into that and understand it from those sides, I can't really speak on how to stop it.
Brandon, what do you believe is the board stance should be when it comes to the proper age to begin sex education, and when should controversial subjects of gender identity and fluidity be introduced?
This is a very heavy question. This is something that's, as we talked earlier, being popularized all over social media and stuff. As a medical background, the cognitive development of a child all the way up, past 18, is a difficult thing. Ages, race, sex, all makes different determinations as when they will be ready. Introduced too early, and you can seriously damage. They'll question. You can open doors that they're not ready for, and it can lead to further issues. With that being said, this is also close to me. I had a brother that was a sister that's transgender that has since passed away. I see it from a different perspective as well, but I also know that he never would have been okay with being approached this at school by anybody. This was an in-house thing. We dealt with it as a family. And when he was ready to deal with it on a public manner, then we did. So no, I don't believe that the school system has the right to decide that. This is something that should be addressed at home, as it has been for many, many, many years. And if it does come up, I would just like to make sure people are very open and very understanding of how sensitive this subject is and how sensitive kids are to these kind of topics.
Thank you. Brandon, should the grading scale be that rigorous, or should it conform more closely to post-secondary grade scales?
It should be close to post-secondary. It is a detriment to kids because although it makes some people strive to get better, that is a minority. The majority of the student body does not view it that way. They don't, that strive, that pressure, along with hormones and body changes and dealing with social stances and stuff like that, it makes it difficult as is. The new way school is done, through so much stuff, my kids come home and I can't help them because I don't have a book. And if the internet's not working or something's happening, then my daughter is 12 and is gonna drive herself insane because she wants that 4.0. She does, she drives herself. My son is equally intelligent, but he does not have the same kind of drive. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't drive to be there, but for example, you have to have a certain grade point average, I think it's a 3.0, in order to do sports in Division I. And not all student athletes put in the time and have the time in order to do that academically. Am I saying they shouldn't? No, but just not everybody's built the same. And I think a majority of the students get hurt by that lack of room to make it work for them.
Thank you. Brandon, if you're elected at the end of a 4-year term, how would you define success?
Re-election. No. Honestly, it's hard for me to sit here and speculate on what I would view as successful at that point. I haven't been involved in a school board before. I'm not completely sure what to expect, other than I know that there are changes I'd like to see made. If I can see some of those made, or I can see benefits of me being there and conversating and giving my 2 cents worth, I would view that as having success.
Thank you. Okay, we will give each of you 1 minute for closing statements.
I would just like to say that I'm here as an open mind, an open ear, and an open voice for the students and the parents of this community. That's my number 1 goal. I feel that that has not been addressed here of late. I want our school district to flourish. I want our children to flourish. And I think through that is going to come with an open ear and an open heart for people in their situations. And I hope they come to me, and so that I can address these issues with other board members if I'm elected. it's a struggle to continually see things degrade from your perspective and from other people's perspective that you talk to in certain situations. And I would like to have the opportunity to try to correct some of those and to improve myself with some of these people up here possibly. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all of our candidates running for Gearing Public Schools Board of Education for participating in tonight's forum. Greg, Brian, John, Krista, Rick, Mike, Gloria, Brandon, Colleen, thank you all for being here. We hope you at home, this helps you in deciding who you wish to vote for. As a reminder, in the May 10th primary election, you'll be allowed to vote for 3 candidates. The top 6 vote getters in the primary election will advance to the November general election. This candidates forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce. We again would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, the timers, students from Gearing Public Schools for volunteering, the Chamber staff, and the Gearing Civic Center for hosting us this evening. On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee, and for my co-chair Don Wolf, I'm Bill Boyer. Thank you for joining us, and remember, get out and vote.